I think it's live.
It
What's
looks
up?
live to me.
What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday, June 28th. Y'all, just kicking it here with the Jarrad Walker. Um, we decided that we would have a conversation today, and we're already 2 hours deep into a convo. And I was like, at some point, we should hit record, go live, bless the people to listen to our mic drop moments and the forever 2 hour podcast that we just had with ourselves. It was awesome. It was awesome. But we were just chopping it up. Anyways, we're gonna chop it up here. Jared, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm always outstanding and improving.
What a great way to answer. How are things? Outstanding and improving.
Yeah. Oh, so I remember when I told you that the first time, you're like the same. You said the same thing. I never told you why I say it though. Like the word outstanding, if you define it, it simply means above average.
Hey.
So if you go back to the beginning, like the very beginning, I'm talking about the beginning, all the way to modern day, like right now, NOW now, there are more people dead than alive. The average person is not alive, mathematically speaking. So if you are alive, you above average.
Above average. We are alive. I'm gonna say it a lot more, less deep. We are up and up like a Target brand. Hey,
Yeah, hey, that's
up and
funny.
up. We're on
Up
the
and
up and
up.
up. We're on the up and up. But sometimes that could be a hard question. How you doing? I feel like sometimes these days that could be a hard question. So I like outstanding and improving. That's a nice way
Yeah.
to be honest about things.
Uh,
Anyways, man, we were just wow, just trying to let the world into that amazing conversation that we were having earlier. Just talking about. I mean, you're a father. You have what, 3 kids?
Why you say it like that? Yeah, we got
Three
three.
angels.
They ain't angels, but we do. My wife and I got three little ones: a 4, 6, and 9-year-old. Yep.
4, 6, and 9. So we were just chatting today about what it looks like to help your children while they're younger develop virtues and values so they don't turn to vices, so that they can actually navigate the world well versus the whole good luck approach, which I feel like a lot of the world just gives the good luck approach, versus taking a vested interest in the development, the attention, what'd you say, attention and intention and the motivation of children.
Yep.
And so that struck a chord with me because of my background in education, because of my background with my program called Success Club and some of the fun things that I have coming up this summer. But yeah, we were just having a good time talking about, man, like how important it is to start to develop belief for young people. Help them like have something to jump on or something to grab onto. And I just kind of want to iterate something or share with the people something that you were sharing with me earlier, Jarrad. You didn't maybe say it in these words, but this is kind of my takeaway, is that young people, they need a purpose and a plan and something to help them make progress on. Like we
Mm.
need purpose and we need a plan, because without purpose, where are we going? What are we doing? Without a plan, I don't know what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, where and with who. And then progress, I think Tony Robbins says, I love T. Robbins. He says, progress is what makes you happy. So, like, without a purpose, without a plan, and without making progress, man, you have an aimless, unhappy, not learning much, doesn't know where to go person. And I think your words were inconsistent and unstable. That's what makes inconsistent, unstable people. And I was like, whoa. I also would say probably insecure. That also make an insecure person. So purpose, plan, and progress would help you be the opposite: secure, consistent, and stable. Anyways, so that's what we've been jamming about for like the last 2 hours. Welcome into our conversation.
Yeah, that's like everything you just said goes down. It literally is the reason why the second half, the outstanding and improving,
Yeah.
because I'm not where I was 6 years ago. I'm not where I was 10 years ago. I'm not where I was when I was first born. And
Wait.
so the life that I've been able to experience each day, which we talking about thousands of days I've been alive, it's like, man, when you really think about it, like, because I am not where I was, that means there was always a purpose, there was always a plan, and there's evidence of progress because I'm not where I was.
Yeah.
So that's the actual pattern.
Hmm.
As I said, that's the way that it actually goes. So if I am, it's interesting. Did you know purpose and plan and intention and idea are all, and will and desire, they're all synonymous?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
An idea is the result of thinking. So thinking is imagining. That means another word for result is fruit, Ruthie. It's fruit. What
Fruit.
fruit is results. Fruit stands for full results understood in time, but it's fruit. So an idea is the result of thinking or the fruit of your imagination. Your intentions are the fruit of your imagination. Your plans are the fruit of your imagination. Your purposes are the fruit of your imagination. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? The pattern is you are the fruit of God's imagination.
Yep. And if you look at the word imagination, it's image nation.
You were created in his image.
Yes. So the if you look at the word imagination, image nation, a lot of us though, it's what you're looking at, what you're focused on. And a lot of us, we haven't directed our focus in a place that is prosperous, profitable, peaceful, productive, and pure. And it's just like it leans to the flesh, which we understand that if we just lean to the flesh or what feels good, looks good, or is
Mm,
flashy or cool, it typically ain't that good for you.
yeah.
Right? Like pleasing the flesh in scripture says it leads to death, but pleasing the spirit leads to life and peace. Like we need to actually direct the imagination. We need to direct our focus, direct our thought. That's what we were talking about earlier, like attention and attention or intention. Attention and intentions, directing the thought, having a goal.
Well,
That's
you
kind of
aim.
going back to again, like the purpose and the plan. And then when you work it consistently, you get the progress. And so it's like, but again, it has to be directed. It has to be directed. It can't just be feral. Good luck. Good luck, guys. Like we have to direct and guide and lead. If not, like it doesn't lead to good fruit.
Not at
You know?
all. Think about what you're saying. Attention, intention, motivation. AIM. Aim. And
Oh, snap.
yeah, that's an aim. So what are you aimed at? What
What are
what
you aimed at, America?
where's your attention? Where are your intention? What is
Dang.
motivating you? What's your motivation? Because
The
that
acronym slapped me. I wasn't even ready for the acronym platform.
I keep it simple so I can remember
Attention,
stuff.
intention, motivation. You know what though? I think I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I don't always love the word motivation because motivation is good, but it has to be reapplied all the time. The better
Mm,
thing is inspiration because motivation it's like a shower. It only you listen, like you only are clean for a couple, maybe a day, 2 days after a shower. You gotta take another shower. You gotta get more motivation, right? Deodorant. You gotta keep reapplying it for it to work. That's how motivation is. I like motivation. Don't get me wrong. I love me some motivation, but I also love inspiration, which is change in the inside, in the spirit. Inspire means in spirit. That's different. That's deep. Like that's that's glory to glory stuff, not necessarily reapply. But I mean, I
it's
listen. I
the
like
good stuff.
it's good.
Yeah. It's
But I
one of
like what
those.
you're saying with aim. Like without those things, you're aimless.
Here's the thing about motivation. You ready for it? You
I feel
ready?
like you just got real serious. You're like, here's the thing. Got your
Here's
dad voice on. Here's the thing, kids.
yeah, here,
Well,
well,
boys and girls, sit up, sharpen your pencils, and lean forward.
yeah, here's the thing about motivation. The things that motivate you are the things you value. So your values are the things that fuel you, they
Mm-hmm.
fire you, they feed you. So if you're not fulfilling your values, then you're not prioritizing that which motivates you based off of who inspires you.
You know, Jarrad, I'm just gonna jump in. I don't think a lot of people know what they value. I don't know.
Yes, you're right.
I don't think a lot of people have sat down to really even just think about what you're thinking about. Little metacognition, little awareness check. I think that
Yeah,
like the art of noticing, the art of awareness. Like I think one of the best ways to improve your life is gain awareness and get perspective. And find
100%.
truth and get into it. Stay there. Like put that in the comments. Like here's a goal for the weekend. Gain awareness, get perspective, and get into truth. A lot of people, I don't even know if they've fully articulated or become more aware of what they do value to actually do it on purpose
Or with purpose.
or with purpose. It's like, oh, we're playing a game. But like, what's the purpose of playing the game? Is it to fun? Is it fun? Is it play? Is it to kind of maybe just, calm down? Or is it like, I haven't put all these other things in place. So this is that delegated default. But
Mm,
that delegated default, whatever, you're either going to live in design or default. There's no in between. There's no demilitarized zone. Pick a side. You're going to live in one of those two categories. Default, doing what you've always done, getting what you've always gotten, doing the pattern of the family, whoever laid the tracks for you, or you're going to live in design. I'm going to do something better. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to change my situation, circumstances. But Jarrad, what you're mentioning with values, I don't know if everyone's even just taken a second. Like, here's a good dinner table conversation with your kids and your spouse, a little journal prompt, you and Jesus. What do I value and why?
bingo. That's the word.
Yeah.
Your values are your why. And most people are unaware
Yeah.
that they do have values. They do have things that motivate them, but they don't know what they are because they're constantly going in different order.
Yeah.
A value is a priority. And the biggest issue that most people have, especially parents, you start struggling when your priorities are out of order. It's not that you don't know what your priorities are, it's
Mm,
that when they're not in order, then you
mm.
have disorder, which is another word for chaos. And if you don't have order, that means you're having disharmony. So
Yeah.
if you're functioning inside of darkness, meaning you can't see due to your lack of awareness,
Hmm.
this means you're struggling because you're focusing on the wrong thing at the
Hmm.
wrong time. And this is why you are getting the results that you don't want, that you keep repeatedly getting because you aren't aware that you have compromised what you truly value.
Yeah.
And it's easy to do. It happens.
It's so easy. Well, again, it's design or default. A lot of us are not living in design yet. Um, Design is there's a level of safety, security, maturity that you can be in design. When you're in survival, when you're in trauma, when you're, just trying to get by, it can be difficult to be in a creative space to make decisions. However, that is the only way out. Like the way out is through. The way out of situation is through situation. The way out of difficulty or default is like I have got to start gain that awareness, get that perspective. Helen here was chiming in, gain awareness, get perspective. Amen. That actually allows you to get into more of the thriving life and then just the surviving life.
You know, I love that. And to add to that amazing perspective you just presented, I never thought about this, Ruthie. Yeah, we about to get an exclusive. We about to get an exclusive. The you don't you literally have to go through it, right? That's sometimes the only way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes the way to go through it is to grow inside of it.
Yeah.
because you have to break out of what you were in. You you can't get out of something until it is time.
Hmm.
Like the chick doesn't grow out of the egg until it's time.
Hmm.
So you literally to you, yeah, you have to go through it, but you have to grow through it to get out of it. You have to
Yeah.
become the person you are meant to be. Otherwise, you will never feel free.
Well, and a lot of that comes down to decision. You got to decide, what kind of life do I want to live? What's the vision for my life? You know, do I want to keep living this way? Do I want to make some different changes? Where do I want to, where do I want to direct my focus? Whatever you focus on, you get more of it. You
Mm.
know, and what's that law? Everything left to itself leads more and more towards chaos, entropy.
Chaos.
Yeah,
Yep.
entropy. If you do not, if you leave something all by itself, it's not going to like lead to order. It'll lead to disorder, that chaos, like entropy. And so I think that there's
Kids.
plants, a road. If you leave a road by itself, there's an abandoned highway in my neighborhood, or not my neighborhood, my city. And they just let this whole strip, they just stopped like letting people drive on. They kind of cut it off and they did a reroute. And
Mm.
every time you drive past it, what used to be all concrete is now like greenery, and there's weeds and shrubs popping up out of nowhere. If you leave concrete alone, it leads to disorder. Kids, let's talk about that for a second. If you do not direct the attention, intention, and motivation of a child, man, that is scary. That's like a scary movie in real life.
Yes, because they are naturally curious. And curiosity left to itself.
Kills cats.
it's
Curiosity killed the cat.
its satisfaction does not always bring you back.
Yeah. But
It's
curiosity's not bad. I just gotta learn how to harness that curiosity.
this is why they require guidance. They require someone taking them by the hand and making sure that they are protected as they are exploring whatever it is they're curious about. The problem is when they're not protected and they're not
Yeah.
supervised and they're just taking their little innocent minds and flooding it with poison and toxins, and they don't know this was happening. They just like the feeling, or they don't
Sugar
know.
tastes good.
Is
Sugar
it
tastes
sugar ain't
good.
sweet, but sugar ain't sweet. So it's like,
I know. It leads to a lot of bad stuff.
man. So when you don't like, okay, so I homeschool. Me and my wife, we homeschool our children, and people have these weird notions. They're like, well, how are your kids gonna socialize if they're homeschooled? I'm like,
They go out. It's not like we keep them in a. Oh my
I
gosh.
said we homeschool, not in prison.
I
Like
know.
even prisoners socialize, but at the end, it's like like
They're not in a vacuum.
like fam, you do realize like you don't send your kid to school to socialize. Last time I checked, they say I don't send you to school to make friends. I don't send you to school to socialize. I send you to school to get an education. Well,
Mhm.
I don't the logic, the math ain't math in it when it's well, how they gonna socialize? They're gonna socialize by going around people. That ain't that how you do that? Yeah,
Hmm.
well, if they in the house, how they gonna you're not thinking critically because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you can't go through this world without experiencing people. And here's a cheat code. My kids are not like we don't have any only children over here. So when you're an only child, you definitely have things to be concerned with because you don't have another
Yeah. There's
person or two
lack.
people.
Yeah.
It's just they got each other. And because they have each other, they don't have the same concern as someone who has nobody.
Yeah. But I want to try. I want to talk more about what you're saying, because who you do surround yourself with matters.
Hmm.
And I think that's the huge concern. It's so funny about going to school. I was a school teacher. I was also homeschooled. I was homeschooled, charter school, public school, then I became a public school teacher, and now I'm a big advocate for homeschooling. So
Back
put
to
the
your
pieces
roots.
together. Back to the roots. Well, it's so funny. Like people are so concerned about homeschool children being socialized, but no one's concerned about public school kids being educated. And what they're learning is not necessarily better, good. Some people it would make you sick what they are teaching or not teaching in the schools. I'm gonna leave that one right there and step away for a minute.
Uh-huh.
But what is always fascinating to me, like we do need to put ourselves around people who are calling us higher. We do need to put ourselves in the vicinity of people who are moving and shaking because it calls you to another level. And kind of going back to the entropy piece, if we don't put your children in a place where they can have that directed guidance and thought and hanging out with people that are noteworthy, that you would want them to be like, it ain't gonna happen on accident. It will happen on purpose. It will not happen passively. It will happen actively. You know, when I was a teacher, I would tell my students this. It says, "Bad company corrupts good character," as a Bible verse. And we've all heard, "Birds of a feather flock together." I would say some of your friends might need to flock off because they're not good. They're not good for you. Some of your friends might need to, they might need to fly away because they're not good for you. But when you are gathered around like a goal, positive intention, positive peer group, it does wonders for you. It does wonders for you. And we're in summertime. So like there are club sports, events, holidays, but what there's camps, but like what are we gathering around that could be purposeful, profitable, productive, and like helping kids to better themselves by design, not default. And like something I'm just gonna go there. I'm gonna done say it, Jarrad.
Say
Listen,
it. Say it. Say it with your chest.
want the kids to level up on their game because it makes them feel good is one thing. I want to help your kids level up in life. Let's help them hit another level of life and level up if you're picking up what I'm putting down and more than just the game. I think a lot of parents, if I'm being honest, I was chatting with a lady just on Thursday. I felt like God told me to go over to her house and give her a hug. So I did. I said, "Hey, are you home and huggable?" She goes, "I'm home and I'm huggable." So I said, "I feel like God wants me to come over and give you a hug." Who would like that? Who would like someone just like one of their besties to come over and come over to her house and give them a hug? I just felt the need. So I went over and we started chatting. She starts opening up about her kids, and she's like, "I'm just concerned because in 10 minutes of playing a video game, they've had so many images and fast action movement that's hitting their brain. That's like dopamine after dopamine after dopamine hit that like they don't even know how to function in like normal paced real life world. And everything that's not that is boring." And I was like, oh, dang. Like she was concerned. She's like, I don't want my kids, and I've heard from other people, they don't want their kid to scroll the summer away. They don't want their whole life to be consumed on a screen. And I'm like, amen. Like, let's play a better game. I think that I'm gonna pull it out. I'm gonna share this line. It hit me when I was at an event. Your kid could play Fortnite all summer. They could. Or they could play Make a Fortune.
Man,
What game you want to play? I want to play Make a Fortune.
I want to play Make a Fortune. I want to play life.
Play
You know,
life.
you know my favorite game to play is
Life.
Family. When people complicate things, it's because they simply don't know what they're looking at. Sometimes you have all the pieces,
Yeah.
but you just don't know what you're looking at. So there's a proverb. It says, purpose in a man's heart is like deep waters, but a man of understanding will help draw it out. Man meaning mankind. So when you have an intention, a desire, an actual purpose deep within you, you need someone to actually come and draw it out of you. Well, here's the thing. You want your kids to be whatever you want them to be. I ask my kids right now, if I just call them in here and say, "Hey, who do you want to be when you grow up?" Their immediate response is going to say, they're going to say, "Me." And then I'm going to say, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" They're going to say, "The best version of myself." That's how that goes. I don't need you to be somebody else. Well, if you were gifted to this world, then there's values that are inside of you that need to be fed and fueled so that you can show up and do exactly what it is you were meant to do. And it's not just one thing, it's a multiplicity. And when you lack the community, that's because you lack the family. And that right there is, it's not by design for some people,
Yeah.
but at the same time, there are those who have the plans, they have the blueprint, they have the pieces, they have the resources, they have it all, and they just blow it away because they don't realize the value of what they have until it's taken away from them.
Yeah.
And I know what that's like. I know what it's like. That's why I remember being the guy who's always working, working hard, working on something. I'm doing ministry. I'm doing the Lord's work. I'm going to my job.
Yeah.
I'm working hard. I'm doing double time. I'm trying to bring the money home for the family. My wife doesn't have to work. She's at the home with the kids. And then, when I get out, I go to Bible study, or I go to the church. Nobody's there. I'm just studying. I'm just so focused. I'm so focused. I'm learning all of this Greek and this Hebrew. I'm using proper hermeneutics. I'm expository preaching, teaching. I'm doing all of these things. I'm learning so much. Meanwhile, my wife is at home struggling with these kids, and she needs help. And the number one person that's supposed to be helping her is the one that helped her make these daggone kids. So that's me. And it's just like,
Yeah. I'm
bruh,
so grateful that you clarified that for
yeah,
us
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But it's like, yo, you so focused that you're distracted. And remember when I was talking about those priorities not being in order? God sat me down, literally, because in 2020, it was January, I had woke up one day and I was like, man, I'm in pain. And that led to me not being able to physically labor and work because my tailbone, my coccyx, had deviated inwardly. I had multiple bulging discs in my back. And all of this after going to uh actual summit with Vodi Bakum, learning about family and being intentional and all of that stuff. It's like, oh, the irony. Because
Yeah.
here I am with a friend of mine who has a wife but no kids, yet I have a wife and two at the time. And next thing you know it, I'm stuck at home in my bed, unable to participate physically in a lot of things because I'm trying to heal. Meanwhile, here comes COVID 2 months later, and everybody's focused on that. So while everybody else is focused on COVID, I was focusing on trying to heal and recover.
Yeah.
But one day, Ruthie, I'm laying in my bed and I'm hearing my wife in there struggling with these kids. And I'm just like, I know these jokers hear their mama talking to her, talking to them. And I'm hearing it, but that's when it hit me. Oh, snap. This is what she's been trying to tell you this whole time. Then I felt like a failure because I had been failing my family while trying to build for somebody else's empire, somebody else's family, somebody else's business, somebody else's everything, and then have the audacity to use God as an excuse for not being the priest in my home first. And it's like, yo, whoa, 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 something got to shake. So
Yeah.
I felt the moment, like I felt like a failure. I felt hopeless. I felt lost. I felt all these things because like I ain't had no daddy to teach me these things. I had two fathers, and both of them they did what they did, but they did not do a good job. One of them was gone my whole life majority, and the other one didn't have his father to teach him. So I didn't have people to teach me how to be a man, and certainly how to be not how to be a father. I just knew you work, you take care of your family. It's like work does not. First and foremost, a job is not work. Work is what you do. A job is where you go. And if you have a job to do, that's a duty. So if it is something you do, it is the work that was gifted and given to you. So you have abilities and responsibilities to fulfill. So you need to do the work. I was failing. Therefore, I was being a lazy father. I was
Mm.
being a lazy husband. What does it mean to be lazy? It To be lazy is to know what you're supposed to be doing and refuse to give any energy or any effort towards it, because I was giving all of my energy and exerting it in places that I thought were the priority at the moment. It's like, yeah, those are priorities, but those are your priorities, not
Yeah.
God's priorities.
And a lot of folks, we have our priorities. We just kind of going back to the perspectives and the values, that's where our priorities should be coming from. And I love what you're talking about with like community and help and really building your own, not building for somebody else. Like it's huge. And my heart is that young people could get that sooner. Like something that we've discussed this before, like something that I'm really big on is helping people have success sooner. You could avoid a lot of unnecessary pain and suffering. You could get be on the up and up sooner. What part of my story is when I went to my first personal development conference when I was 28 years old, and I sat in that freezing cold ballroom and I bawled my eyes out. And I had this moment, and it hit me later. I was angry though. I was like, why did I have to wait until I was 28 to learn these things? I was so mad. I was so irate. I was like, school didn't teach me, church didn't teach me, mom and dad, I love you, but y'all didn't teach me this. Why did I have to wait until I was 28 to learn this stuff? I was like, ah. And as a teacher turned educator, and as an educator turned entrepreneur, where I'm, taking my gifts outside the classroom to the four corners of the earth, just want to be like, listen, listen, you can have success sooner. You don't have to wait till you're 28 to have community, get help, build your own. Build your own, like build your own belief system from the word of God. Build your own business. Build your own family. Build your own life on the word. Build your
Ooh.
own, like get help, seek help, get coaches, get counselors, get therapists and pastors. Like surround yourself with community. So community is common unity. Find some people who believe like you want to believe, who behave and act and have the way that you would like to believe, act, and have, and behave, act, and have, and like go hang around them on purpose. You know what? I'm going to share with you guys, if you need, some people need a community. They don't have one. If you're listening and you need some connection, you need some community, you need some people to connect with, like please don't just hear the energy or, a little bit of anger in my voice and be shied away. Come a little closer, babe. We got you. We want you to like know that you are loved, you are chosen, you are royal, you are holy, you are special. Like, and you got people that want to pour into you and help you. That's the whole reason I got into coaching and development in the first place.
Mm.
And is to form connection and community in healthy ways. One of the ways I'm doing that this summer, is it okay if I share about that one? What? So I'm putting together, I'm just curious if this would be interesting to anybody here, any of the parents. I'm putting together a community of like-minded believers that want to help build their own business. Whether it's help your child build their own business, because it's so easy, a kid can do it. It's not even hard. It's not that hard. Like I wish I would have learned these things when I was a kid. And I think starting a business or entrepreneurial skills, the single greatest skills you possibly could have. It's the best personal development on the planet. And learning how to create, communicate, collaborate, and complete is a big deal. You need to learn how to bring an idea through to completion, which will hopefully create income. Learn how to have a purpose and a plan and make progress so that you can feel really great about yourself, make a profit. Also, like, leave some good in the world, solve some problems. So if you look at the word business, business is simply solving problems for profit. A lot of people, though, what I found in just in the coaching space, even in being a strategist for business, is folks are working their busyness, not their business.
Mm.
We're running around looking like we're doing so much, but we haven't made a lot of progress. And my heart, I have a webinar coming up for those who might be interested, but my heart is to help young people, the moms, the dads who've had ideas in their note app for like 3 years, get that idea out. Like, let's develop it. Let's deploy it. Or maybe your kid doesn't have a community of people, a purpose, a focus for their summer. What if they could take an idea, create a product, and sell it? And over the summer, your kid can make sales. They can start buying their own clothes. You know what I'm trying to say? They could buy their own, hey, BYO, buy your own school supplies, buy your own clothes, help out around the house. There's something about that responsibility, ability to start being able to pay for things for yourself, contribute positively to the world, as well as like go purchase things, make decisions, help other people. I just think it's really powerful. It's something I'm excited about, to be a safe haven for families and kids, to build that community, help them like level up, build up their character, their confidence.
Mm. You know what's interesting? When you allow people to do the thing they already wanted to do, you're not allowing them to do anything. You're simply making them aware of what their opportunities and options and power always was. And when you give them a place to actually do that,
Yeah.
you're solving a major problem. And the problem that you're solving is a problem of clarity. It's like, I didn't know. You can do that? Yeah. Wow. Well, it's an easy yes. It's an easy yes. And you know what else is just as interesting? Nerd out for just half a second. When you look at the word family, and then you look at the history of the word, the etymology of family, ironically, you do not find it to be dealing with kinship. It actually goes back to familia. And I'm not talking about from Spanish. Family was always dealing with those who belonged to a specific household, meaning they were bond servants and maids and all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
But they actually were serving the same lord or master or the house name. So that's the man of the house. That's the father who had the husband who had all of these dreams that he was fulfilling through what delegation to whom his wife, who was the wife, the household manager. So you have the house name, you have the householders, that's the husband and the wife, and then you have the household. The household is the family. And if you look at it from a faith perspective as well, biblically speaking, that is why the family of faith is a family, because it's the household of faith, which is the people who have yielded to the same master, who is Christ. So,
I'm about to take it one step further.
oh, hold on. Wait. There, I'm gonna drop the mic right here. The actual structure of every business that you have ever seen model after God's establishment in essence of the family. You have the house name. Let's say it's JP Morgan. That's the name. Then you have the householders. Those are the managers, the CEO, COO, all of these people who are actually managing the actual business. And then you have the household. Those are the employees, the servants, the wage slaves, however you want to put it. But these people are all a part of the same family. So
Mhm.
when you bring business and family together, you're only bringing it back to its essence, to be honest with you. They were never separate.
Dang, that was cool. And when you gather around something that is familiar, you do create familia, family, you know? So I
Mm.
once heard someone say this and it blew my mind, and I'm about to blow y'all's mind with this. Somebody once said, "What's the inheritance of Jesus?" And I was like, me? Us? I was like, I don't know. That's a weird question. Like the Father longs to give the Son his inheritance. What is the inheritance of Jesus? And I was like, I don't even know. Like, what? Us? He's like, yes. The guy was like, yes. It's family without end. The inheritance of Jesus, the thing the Father what longs to give the Son, is family without end. So I was reading in Genesis, and it talks about in Genesis 1:28, be fruitful and multiply. I'm like, that's cool. Be fruitful and multiply. Okay, that doesn't just mean have babies. That means like use your gifts and create something good out of them. Take the seed that you've been given, sow it, bear good fruit, make disciples, um, create, be fruitful, multiply. I was like, huh, be fruitful, multiply, BFAM, be fruitful, multiply, be fam. Whoa. When I am being fruitful
She did
and
that.
multiplying, I am creating family without end.
Be
Be
fam.
fam, be fruitful and multiply. When I'm using my God-given gifts, when I'm creating like the creator, when I'm surrounded with community and we are collaborating, creating, communicating, moving forward, right? Purpose plan, uh, progress. That's fruitful. That's multiplying. That's being fam. That's being family. That's fulfilling the first commission of the book. It says it on like page 1. Be fruitful and multiply, which again doesn't just mean have babies. That's part of it. But there's other parts. Be creative. You use your God-given gifts. By the way, your gifts aren't for you. Your gifts are to serve the world around you. A gift is it's like a tree. A tree doesn't eat its own fruit. Your gifts aren't for you. Your gifts also don't work on you. A tree does not eat its own fruit. The fruit is for those who pass by. The gifts are for others. If you're an encourager, you need somebody else to encourage you, boo. If you're a accountant, I'm sure you probably could, you might have the gift of numbers. You might be able to do your own numbers, but even like what plumbers have their own leaky pipe sometimes. Why? Because sometimes we need to receive what we so freely give to everybody else. Anyways, I digress. I just want to encourage you all to be fruitful and multiply above and beyond having babies. And with your babies, encourage them to use their God given gifts to get in community, to create, to collaborate. So I do have a webinar coming up that I'm pretty excited about to help point your family in the right direction so you can BYO, build your own, build your own family, build your own business, build your own economy. I feel like in 2025, if you don't have a side business, like it's almost irresponsible, because we literally live in the greatest time to be alive. We live in something called the creator economy. And if y'all did not know this, please allow me at 45 minutes in here to educate you that And we're going to land the plane, y'all. We're going to land this, and we'll just wrap this up in a minute. But I do want to share with you guys that the creator economy is doing $1 billion of business every single day. That's billion with a B. The $1 billion a day business economy. Like I want you to think about like helping, like getting in that $1 billion a day economy. I want you to think about your kids instead of learning how to get to that next level in their game. What if you made a game about getting to the next level of business where your child, where you or anybody could be using their God-given skills and gifts and talents to be fruitful and multiply? When you multiply, like income is only a fruit of impact. Business is just solving problems for profit. Like I would love to help your child and you, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. Like the coolest thing right now, Jarrad, is like it's never been easier. It's never been easier to start a business. Like the threshold is low. But it's also never been easier to be distracted. So we need people to actually come around us to guide us, to actually help us focus. Like focus, baby, focus. Baby, lock eyes, babe. Right? Like, come on, focus on me. Help your kids focus. I also have kids. I have parents ask me all the time. They're like, how do you keep kids focused? I'm like, I engage them and I enroll them in a great vision, and they aren't as distractible as you might think. When you give kids a better focus, they lock on.
I gotta say this too. Fact check me. Look up the word focus etymologically and you'll find the word family. Seriously.
For real?
I am so serious. I am so serious. The
Opens up another tab looking right now.
when you look at the word focus etymologically, you go to, I use a site called Etymoline. I got the app, but and it's free. But when you look up focus, you end up finding family. And I'm so serious. It comes from the 1640s.
Yeah. Focus is directly linked to the Latin word for hearth. The concept of a hearth is the central point of a home, which relates to the broader sense of family as a household or home. Okay, boys and girls, thank you for coming to our Facebook Live today. Just want to encourage you to focus your family focus. Build a business, be fruitful and multiply. But for real though, I do have a webinar coming up that I'm pretty excited about, and I want to share with you guys, and would love to get y'all's I would like to get you guys' opinion on what that looks like, or your feedback on how valuable that would be for your kids. You know, what is it that you do want for them? We kind of talked about this earlier and we were kind of joking, but like, you know, half kidding. What are your values? What are the things you're designing on purpose? What is the focus right now? And are you moving towards it intentionally? Are you doing it passively or purposefully? Because results don't happen. Like good success is never an accident. Success is always intentional, active. And this summer, the time's gonna pass. We all know that. You know, we're gonna blink our eyes and we're gonna be sending the kids all back to school. You know, or the school season starts back up and you'll be like, where did the summer go? I want to encourage you guys to use this season to develop yourself and to deploy the gifts that God's given you. Develop some skills, get in the game, get in the business game, get in the game of life. And if you're interested in this, please reach out. I do have a really cool event coming up that I'm pretty excited about. I can go ahead and put the link in the chat for those of you who are interested. But would really love to serve families with helping them to launch something that matters, to be fruitful and multiply.
And what you're doing is so amazing because it comes down to what I was referring to in a while ago, when I realized I was failing. I stopped the nonsense, things that didn't make sense, and I started getting intentional. Like, I didn't have what I wish I would have had growing up, but whenever I became a father, because when I hit 25, that frontal cortex developed and I was just aware of so many things and the executive functions kicking in. Like, wait a minute, I, my dad didn't do this, my dad didn't do that. You know what? I had two dads, my biological, my stepdad, and yeah, it's you know what? If they would have, if then I became a father, me and my wife were now parents, and all that if stuff went out the window. And that's when I realized you got to be the if. And when I was in that bed that day, that's when it hit me. I said, oh my
Okay,
goodness,
be the if. That's a whole word.
man, when I tell you the intentional father that my children required me to be was not going to happen by accident. The intentional family that I was gifted with the responsibility to produce is the word that you're actually talking about. Because
Yeah.
to produce means to bring forth, to give birth. So you produce fruit. Fruit
Yeah.
is a result. Full results understood in time as the byproduct of what has been produced, brought forth, given birth to. That's your baby. Your real babies are the results. And you want to see somebody's results? Look at their kids. Guaranteed. So just
You're
looking
stepping on toes, man.
and just
Jarrad. I
if
hope
you're
y'all wear your I hope you wore your big kid pants and your steel toe boots.
It's the real talk that we all need, though, because when I realize intentional father, intentional family, intentional friendships, be aware of who you flocking with, because you might need to flock off. Because if you hang with nine,
Yeah.
you will be the 10th. And if you don't build a legacy worth protecting, that means you're creating a legacy worth correcting. And the last thing you want to do is be the person that your children are not willing to start reflecting.
Yeah, it's
It's
true.
it's 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 so difficult to accept certain things, like, but I'm doing this for them. It's like you can be successful at the wrong thing. Success simply means you hit what you were aiming at
And you could aim at the wrong target.
and be successful at it. And you hit that. It's like
Hit it every time.
Stephen Covey calls it leaning your ladder on the against the wrong building.
Yeah.
You intentionally took every step on that ladder, every rung.
You
Boom,
climbed
boom.
up.
You climbed up on purpose. It wasn't an accident. It's
Mhm.
just the result that you got wasn't satisfying. And you realize, oh my goodness, I messed up, but you were successful. What are you really trying to succeed at? Because at the end of the day, the word successful is not just good. Even in Joshua, it specifically says you will have good success. So that means there's bad success. So being the intentional father, intentional family, intentional friendships, intentional faith, those are the four relationships that'll make or break your life. So if Ruthie is saying, hey, I'm putting together something so you can all work together and build something worth protecting, it's like, you know what? You might as well build something worth protecting, because if you don't, you're building something worth rejecting, and that's you. And that reputation, you only get one of those, and a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. And a good name is to be desired more than silver and gold. Great riches, favor is better than great riches. So if you want favor with your family, you got to be
Yeah.
intentional now, because if not, you'll look up and the time has flown by. They're no longer children anymore. And they got an opinion about you that's based on 20 years worth of evidence. And they're like, I don't want that. You can avoid that by creating something that you all create together. That way you can produce the fruit, the results that are meant to be produced in you and them inside of them. And you give them the tools to be who it is God has called them to be with their family.
Yeah. Yep.
Be the if, because
Be
if is a
the if.
condition that must be met in order for a
Yeah.
specific purpose to be fulfilled. How about
Yeah.
you be the condition that actually changes their position and allows them to see things from a new position?
Yeah. That's huge. Be the if. Build your own. And like family business, like Let's hang out where family meets business, where you have something that's worth protecting, that's profitable and prospering, that your family is solving problems together. Like you want to change the attitude and the temperature of your house. You want to change the climate of your inner community. Like if you want to change what that looks like, get a common goal that everyone's
Ooh,
enrolled in. A common goal, a
yes,
common enemy. Nothing
yes,
unites people more than a common enemy. You know what the
yes.
common enemy should be? Poverty.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Poverty should be the common enemy. Confusion, division. Division is different vision.
Mm,
That's what division is, division. Whereas if we were to come into harmony with our diversity in the home, you get unity.
mm.
Bring everyone together, common goal,
Single-minded.
single-mindedness. Like, and it's just so huge. So like, this whole summer, I'm preaching the message. I'm walking the walk. I'm talking the talk of being fruitful and multiplying, helping you identify and discover your gifts, develop your gifts, and deploy your gifts, helping you to package up and box your brilliance, get it out there. You have a solution. Jarrad and I were jamming about this for like 3 hours before we even got on this Facebook Live. But like, you have a solution to people's problems, and
Yeah.
it is you are obligated, in my opinion, you are obligated to get that solution out to serve people. Please do not be selfish and withhold your gifts from the world.
Mm,
Please do not be selfish and just relegate or delegate the whole summer to the default.
mm,
What we used to do, what we typically do, what we always do. Do something different. Do something different this summer. Develop yourself on purpose. Position yourself to prosper, or being in a community that's doing something that's going to move everyone forward, and
mm,
watch what happens to the love, the connection, the communication, the family, within the home. I've seen it time and time and time and time again. It's blessings on blessings on blessings. God does not lead us into bummer to bummer. God leads us into glory to glory. It just keeps on getting better. And that's what happens, I believe, when we start to build something together. Are there going to be some moments that aren't, you know, rosy? Of course, with anything
yep.
that you build or create, there are moments of friction. You create a baby, you're staring at that thing, it's the most beautiful thing you've ever did see. And then you have like sleepless nights and you got to water it and feed it and clothe it and take care of it and bathe it. Yeah. And then it grows up to be something that you can't imagine your life without. That's what it's like to build a business. And it's beautiful. It's the X factor. So I want to
Mm,
encourage you guys to come hang out with us this summer. Jarrad's got some things he wanted to he was sharing with me earlier that he's wanting to potpourri or put together potentially inside of the Kingdom Business Boot Camp. Um, but if you've had an entrepreneurial desire inside of you, if you see that inside of your kids, if you want to facilitate those kind of skills inside of your children, which I would highly recommend. Um, Not that your child has to be an entrepreneur, not that you have to be an entrepreneur, but it is to your benefit to have entrepreneurial skills. The awareness and ability to solve problems is your edge in the world. Like gives you a dynamic edge. I want to help you get ahead of the curve, utilize the skills so that you can make a difference in the world. Again, it's never been easier to get in the game. It's also never been easier to be distracted. We
yeah.
help bridge that gap by helping you take an idea through to completion. So, Jarrad, I know that we could keep cutting it up for a couple more hours. I do have to hop off here. Is there any ending words that you would like to impart to those who are watching or listening?
Definitely. What Ruthie is saying is something I've been like wanting to figure out how to say. And I'm gonna say it just like this. You do not have to sacrifice your family in order to build something for your family. You can
That's so
actually do it together.
Mm,
You can build wealth and legacy at the same time.
come on.
Because if you look at every other story, you probably seen Hallmark, Lifetime, Prime Video, whatever. It's always the person builds whatever they build and they get to the top and they look up and their family is nowhere to be found. And they feel like they abandoned their family and they want nothing to do with them, all
Yeah.
because they thought they had to prioritize something that was for something they also prioritized. You can do it together and you can build wealth and legacy at the same time. But it starts with what she said, unity. If you have unity in your home, that means you have community. And if you have community, which is common unity, that means you have the ability to build what nobody else can. Because, contrary to popular belief, there's something that you are meant to produce together before it's all said and done. Don't let that time pass by. Yeah.
Dang. I'm gonna wrap us up and land it with sharing something. I didn't know that you were gonna say that, and that really blessed me. Together is one of my favorite words. You know how like you and I geek out on words. When I was in 4th grade, the word together was on our spelling list, and I memorized how to spell it. Together spells to get her. A couple years ago, maybe it was a year ago, I was sitting down with my journal just talking to God, and I was like, Lord, we're in this together. And the Lord highlighted that word to me, together, to get her. You do realize that's the whole goal. Togetherness is the goal. To get her. Who's her? It's the bride of Christ. Wake her up. Go get her. Preach the good news. Share the truth. To get her together. That's the goal. Is to go get her together. If you are a sleepy saint, if you don't know yet, if you are in the dark, the job is to go wake up, wake up. Wake up, people who don't know. The cure for ignorance is expensive, y'all. What you don't know can hurt you. Ignorance is expensive. And what I'm sharing today, what I'm talking about with this Kingdom Business Boot Camp, it's so much more than just launch a business. It's let's cure the ignorance problem with wisdom and knowledge and give you the ability to change your life, and then go wake somebody else up. Go educate another person. Go empower and equip and elevate and encourage others by showing what's possible, by you going first, by you being the X factor, by you being the if. So listen, y'all, we could just keep going. Jarrad, it has been a blast. Thank you for sharing your wise words. Thank you for thank you for just being you. Thank you for being you, man. So
Likewise,
good.
Ruthie.
So
Likewise.
good. All right, y'all. God bless you. I'll post information below about the webinar. If you're wanting to follow Jarrad, I would encourage everyone just, you see his name, go find him on Facebook. Get into what he's doing. He's doing big things in the world. And if you're interested in Kingdom Family Business, let's chat. All right. Love you guys. Mwah. Bye.